Have you ever felt unsafe in school?
I've never felt unsafe in my school.
Generically, I feel pretty safe in this school here. It's a nice place to learn in.
Canada is a pretty safe environment for safe education.
I think it's just very hard for students in Canada to really get access to guns, so I don't personally feel very threatened.
Actually, I feel really safe in the school, especially in Canada, because everyone's nice and we don't have the gun threat, especially in Canada.
What defines a mass shooting? While there is no strict legal definition, it is most frequently classified as a shooting in which 4 or more people are injured or murdered. In the past year in the US, there have been 273 mass shootings which have killed nearly 12,000 Americans across the nation. This number doesn't even consider the 31,217 killed and the 15,612 injured by gun violence incidents in the same year as well. Already, in just the first 4 months of 2018, 129 were killed and 265 injured in the US in mass shootings. In the light of all these shootings, students have been particularly on edge.
How many people do you know who possess a gun?
No one.
I do not know of anyone who possesses a gun.
We actually don't have gun in China. We cannot buy a gun as a citizen, so Canada just like China, so I have never seen a gun in China or in Canada.
I actually know quite a few people that actually possess guns, but they're all licensed, registered, and legal. They're not used for killing people or, harming others, just for hunting or collection purposes. So yeah, I do know a lot of people that do possess guns here in Canada, but they're not, as easy to get illegally. You have to go through more of a legal process to obtain one.
Have you ever been in a situation in which you felt unsafe and in potential danger at the hands of a firearm?
I have never been in a situation where I felt at risk of a firearm.
However, there have been situations, in which I've encountered potentially dangerous strangers, and you never know who has a gun on them, you know what I mean? It's somebody could pull it out and surprise you at any moment. It's something that, is well hidden. It's a surprise factor. You never really know, unless they have it pointed at your face, what danger you could be in.
I felt unsafe in potential use of a firearm, not knowing they might have a firearm, but you never know who owns it.
Since January 1st, there have been 18 school shootings in which 27 innocent students were murdered, not including the abundance of those injured. Why do these things happen? And why do they seem to be happening so frequently nowadays? There's 2 main reasons why people feel the United States have been experiencing so many gun-related issues: the media and lack of gun control. Before the 1980s, the number of mass killings that would occur in the US every year was pretty standard, and only a handful would occur. This number drastically increased in 1980 and has been increasing ever since, despite the fact that homicide rates have been dropping. Many believe that, in a way, mass shootings have become contagious, and that the media has played a large role in their prevalence. In a study taken called Media and Mass Homicides, it was found by studying mass shootings all across the world through the 80s and 90s that the incidents were all influenced by each other in some way. The same thing occurs for school shootings. School shootings have always been around, with the earliest recorded in the US being the 1700s. With this being said, they were very rare and did not occur frequently. Now, FBI data shows that schools are the second most high-risk location for active shooting incidents, only following behind the workplace. Many account the media coverage of school shootings by creating focus on the killer as a huge factor in why they happen again and again, and feel that the news channels need to change how they report on these cases. The other contributing factor to the prevalence of these issues is gun control, or lack thereof. It's difficult to just look at gun laws in America, as they differ state to state. In general, in the United States, federal law states that you must be 18 and not a fugitive considered a danger to society or have certain criminal convictions to buy a long gun, also known as shotguns and rifles. This age is lower in certain states, and in Maine, Vermont, and Minnesota, 14 or 16-year-olds can buy it as well, as long as they have parental consent. Federal law also banned assault rifles, but semi-automatic weapons, which reload automatically, are not banned. Only 18 states and a handful of cities have laws requiring guns to be safely stored, a common thing in countries with stricter gun regulations. In states like Florida, you don't even have to have a permit or license to buy a gun, and neither do the sellers. This is also commonly seen in gun shows. With the Second Amendment in America's gun-loving culture, on average, there are 88 guns for every 100 people in the country.
How have recent events influenced your opinion on gun laws in the US and around the world?
Recent events in the U.S. have definitely reinforced my views on gun laws and gun control in general. I just think it is so not right that these things have been able to occur and how frequently they occur in the U.S. because of the close access they have to guns.
My opinions on gun control, I think they need to be way stricter in the U.S.
The shooting accident happening in America is really sad because they are just like students like us, and they has been shooted by somebody with gun. So I think the gun control should be really strict in America.
It's too easy to obtain access to a firearm, especially in the States and, in other places around the world, but them mostly, like you can walk into Walmart and get a gun, and Sandoz store, you don't have to go through any testing. It's easy to get one, illegally without registration or licensing. I do feel that, action needs to be taken because too many kids feel unsafe in school, and this is an environment you should never feel unsafe in. This is a place that you should always, be able to go to school and learn without having the threat in the back of your mind or the fear in the back of your mind that you're gonna die, so.
With all the kids standing up for their rights in the States, I think it's ridiculous that they're not being listened to.
With such a complex issue, it has left many asking what can be done to stop these terrible shootings. We can look at a country like Australia as a great example of ending gun violence. In April of 1996, Australia experienced a tragic mass shooting. A 28-year-old man drove to Port Arthur, a popular tourist destination, and began shooting with a semi-automatic weapon. In doing so, 35 people were killed, ranging from ages 3 to 72, and 18 were injured. Australians were horrified by what happened, and saw this as a need for change of their inadequate gun laws. Within weeks, in Australia's 8 states and territories, the government had banned semi-automatic weapons along with other military-style guns all throughout their country. They started a national gun buyback program to motivate Australians to turn in their assault weapons and ban the import of them to the country. Ever since this was done, Australia has not experienced a single mass shooting in 22 years. In addition to this, Australia's murder rate dropped to less than 1 killing per 100,000 people. Despite having a population of 24 million, only 32 of those homicides used guns. This is shocking in comparison to the city of Chicago alone, with a population of 2.7 million, which had more than 500 killed with firearms last year alone.
As a student, do you have anything personal to say about this particular issue?
I think it's really upsetting to watch fellow students be killed in an institution that we're at every single day that's supposed to protect us and educate us, and we're dying.
I'm a student, and all my friends are students, and my siblings are students, and my family's are students, and a lot of the population are students, and it's a right here in Canada and a right for most part of the world, and it's also a right to feel safe within your learning institution. And I feel like we're really, I'm thankful that here in Canada I feel safe in school.
I think we should all care about gun control and gun violence, as it can really happen to anyone, anywhere. Just because I personally haven't seen a gun or had any encounters doesn't mean there's not guns in Canada or even students who do have access to them. So I think students, not only in America where it's a very prevalent issue, but all across the world should be focused on this and should care about it because it's in our media. It's something we all are exposed to, and that can obviously have a very pronounced effect.
It is apparent that the United States needs to make changes in how they approach gun violence in mass shooting situations. They need to change how they portray these events on TV and make it harder for people to obtain weapons, especially military-grade ones. If a country with a population of 22 million people can change their gun laws and not have a single mass shooting again, others can as well.